All right, everybody. Welcome to the Remodelers on the Rise show. Now, I'm going to start by sharing the importance of humility. The importance of humility. You may, if you've listened to me for a long time, you may go, well, that Kyle, he's kind of nice and he's pretty feisty, but man, he might have a little bit of an ego sometimes too, thinking too highly of himself. And I try not to, but we all may have a little bit of pride and ego that gets in the way. And before I started the recording with my lovely guest today, who I'll introduce momentarily, we talked about how, are we going to edit this? And I said, no. There's no editing. They don't call me Mr. One Take for nothing. And then, of course, a few minutes in, the software's not working right, and here we have to redo it. Moral of the story, do not think more highly of yourself than you should. Be humble like my guest, Chris Howlett with Diamond Hill Builders. How is that for a transition, Chris?
Perfect.
And would you say that humility is something that you excel at better than the example I just gave?
Sure.
Okay, good. So Chris is with us. We're going to talk today about something that he implemented in his business over the last number of months. That if you are a remodeler, yes, I'm talking to you. If you are a remodeler listening to this, I think you're going to relate to the before area of this in his company culture and the way his team was working with each other. And I think you're going to be inspired and perhaps try to implement something similar in your business after you hear the impact that it's had in Chris's business. So, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself. Give them a little bit of understanding of who you are, what your business is like, size of it, employees, etc. I do want you to mention again one of your favorite hobbies, just because I think it's fun and interesting. And then tell us about kind of where this. Actually, from there, I'll introduce it a little bit, and then I'll have you kind of tell us a little bit more about the before part of our story here. So go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Sure. So my name is Chris Howlett, owner of Diamond Hill Builders, located in Exeter, New Hampshire. Been in business 19 years. We're a full-service construction company, but we specialize in additions, remodeling, kitchens, baths, some custom homes, small, minor commercial, but mostly renovations. We've been building in the Seacoast area, building up our reputation, getting better and better every year. We got a great staff of 9. We're about 19 guys right now. We just hired a new guy this morning, which will bring us to 20, and then we'll probably go up between 20 and 25 throughout the season.
Summer season in particular.
Yeah. Yep. Looking forward to our summer. It's going to be extremely busy. Couple hobbies I have. One of my biggest hobbies is maple syrup. I make maple syrup.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that now for about 4 years, learning the ins and outs, getting better and better each year.
There you go. And we talked about that previously on a coaching call. Chris and I have been doing some one-on-one coaching together for the last year plus. And then Chris and his team joined the VIP club at the start of 2023. And somehow maple syrup came up and I was captivated. Wow. All of that goes into the whole process, and you're pulling it out of the tree and then you're boiling it down. It sounded very exciting. And then I was so excited when you came from beautiful New Hampshire all the way to Michigan, because remember we talked about you were going to bring me some of that maple syrup. But it didn't make the trip. But I do believe either Jen or Rebecca mentioned that they would be sending it. Just a reminder.
Yeah.
Just a reminder. I know you have a busy summer coming up, but just a reminder. So when Chris originally reached out to me related to coaching, I think you may have been listening to the podcast or the Facebook group for a bit, and you were wanting to dig into a few areas, one being your numbers. Let's really look hard at our numbers, how we're pricing our work, our job costing, and just make sure we're tightening up and knowing our numbers well. Did a lot of work and continue to do that on that side of things. Have worked through your sales process and refining that a bit. And then another key area that you had was just some challenges related to managing your team well, having a company culture where people really enjoyed coming to work, where they were supporting one another. And in my 15 years of coaching, the ability for a remodeling company to create an environment where the whole team is working in harmony, where they are all rowing in the same direction, where they are supporting one another. That is, frankly, a great challenge for many, many businesses, not just remodeling in the remodeling space, but in any and all businesses. So if you roll back the clock to kind of where you were at before UBE, which is what we're going to talk about. What was kind of the environment? What was kind of the culture? And then tell us kind of how this UBE, which stands for Ultimate Building Experience, kind of how that started, and kind of how that I was going to use the word birthed, but that's not a nice word. How it started, its genesis, if you will. So what were things like, and what were you experiencing as a team?
So, we were experiencing a lot of negativity in the field, a lot of guys complaining, a lot of guys not not really just putting 100% in the field. You have your few guys that were definitely giving 110%, but for the most part, it was negativity, complaining, complaining that they're being bounced around, complaining that they have to work with this person, complaining that they didn't have this tool, stuff like that. And it was just becoming a problem, to the point where we knew we had to make a change. And so I sat down with my management staff. We kind of drew up a few options, and we're like, you know what, where would we want to work? What is needed today in a work environment? And at the end of the day, we want our clients to have a great experience. We know the work will sell itself, the craftsmanship will sell itself, but it's the experience. And how do we get that experience to our client? Well, it starts at our team. So we sat down and we wrote our mission. And our mission is to be the premier provider of the building experience as your client partner, providing clear communication and attention to detail from concept to completion. So we wrote that mission. And then from there, we're like, okay, what's the next step? Well, we got to craft our team experience. So what we did from there is we sat down.
I'm going to pause you for a second.
Sure.
Because there's too many good nuggets that you've already shared that we need to unpack before we unveil more. So number one, when you started talking about negativity and kind of complaining about this, I couldn't see them because we're recording this and people are listening to it later, but I saw a bunch of remodelers nodding their heads like, huh, you in my business there, Chris? You sound it sounds very familiar. And what I took from that partly was, negativity breeds more negativity. And I think that's what you were seeing. It's almost like the negativity was starting to accelerate as more pressure grew, as more people were not being supportive of each other, as we were complaining more. It was not really holding there. It was almost getting worse. So there's that. And then the other wise thing that you said was, one, you acknowledged we have a problem. And then the next thing you said, which I think is important for everybody listening to hear, is what are we going to do about it? I sat down with my kind of core team of, you got 4 or 5 key core team members in management, and kind of said, what are we going to do about it? This problem needs to be done. We've experienced for too long. So that's something that remodelers need to hear. Are you just going to sit back and watch this happen to your company and be very reactive and just throw your hands up and not know what to do? Or are you going to lean into it and go into problem solving mode? Go into, we need to try something new. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And you were done with that. We're going to try something new. And then the other thing you said was, where would we want to work? If we crafted this in a way that would be a wonderful place for us to work, you started brainstorming that. And then you started brainstorming what would be a wonderful client experience. So I wanted just to make sure people saw your different steps here and the strategy that you were employing, because that's kind of the step that each person needs to go through to correct this. Wonderful. So as you were saying, we got the mission, and you said the mission to be a premier provider of the building experience. We want to be your partner, your client partner, provide clear communication, attention to detail from concept to completion. That's very much honed around the experience you want to give your clients. And they called it the ultimate building experience. So then you went into where you were before I wanted to reiterate that. Sure. And you went into kind of the teamwork side. So unpack that a little bit in your brainstorming there.
So as a team, we created 3 core values, or 3 core expectations of UBE. And the first one is teamwork. The second one is providing exceptional customer experience. And the third is to be an exceptional DHB employee.
Diamond Hill Builders. Yep.
Exactly. So we looked at teamwork and we said, what's our expectations? Well, we want you to be helpful, willing to help other employees without being prompted. We want a positive attitude. We want to maintain a positive attitude in the face of our ever-changing workload. Communication. We all know communication's key, and we all know that contractors don't communicate where they should be communicating, whether it's in-house or if it's in the field. So communicating with all employees and management in a respectful manner just is huge. And the last thing is attendance. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like today people want to work their 8 and go home. They don't want to work past 8 hours a day. They don't want to work weekends. Yeah, we've got a few, but trying to get these guys to work past 8 can be very difficult. One thing that was bothering me the most is they might have an hour left in the day, but instead of working that extra hour, they'll pack up and leave and go home and come back the next day and spend 3 hours, which would have taken an hour. So that was a problem. So the biggest thing with attendance is arrive on time and be ready to give 100% each day, meaning if you have to go the extra mile, to stay an extra hour.
Yeah. So those 4 ideas related, again, ultimate building experience, headline along the top. Here's kind of our mission. 3 core areas of that. The first one being teamwork. Those 4 things that you kind of listed out there, was that just you sitting down with your management team, your your office manager, your couple project managers, and were you guys just brainstorming that?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Brainstorming, and then we got a little feedback from our team as well,
and kind of shared that with them. So I mean, you were what the first again. The thing that everybody needs to hear is if you have a bad company culture, using like negativity, not supporting each other, I don't want to work with that person. It's not the be all end all, but writing down your expectations and making your expectations very clear is a very powerful step. So you're complaining about them not being helpful, not having a positive attitude, not communicating, not showing up on time. Guess what? Part of the deal with working at Diamond Hill and the expectation is we're all about teamwork as our first pillar. We're going to be helpful, have a positive attitude, clear communication, and great attendance and expectations there. So I think that's important. Write down your expectations, and you'll see how Chris really built this out. But that's a great start. So then the second kind of area, what do you call it? The 3 what?
Core expectations.
Core expectations.
Yeah.
Second one was related to exceptional customer experience, and you have 4 underneath that.
Yep. So, the number one thing was, keeping the job site clean. Keep trash cleaned up daily, wear booties in the house if requested, park in designated areas, be cautious of careful, areas that you need to be careful of, grass, trees, bushes, etc. And these are all things we go over with our guys in a pre-construction meeting, but it's just taking that extra step to think outside the box. And it might not just be that you're parked in front of the client's house. You might be parked in front of the neighbor's house. So that's huge. And the biggest thing is coffee cups, soda cans, lunch, throw it out, pick it up. Don't leave it underneath a pile of scraps. Pick it up at the end of the day. It's huge because at the end of the day, the client wants to see a clean job site.
Yeah, no doubt.
Honor the absent. Be aware of the conversations you are having in the conversations you are having in the company in which you are having it with. Clients are listening, even when you don't think they're listening. Like I tell my guys, smile, you're on camera. Everybody's got a camera today. And if they don't, the neighbor does. And if the neighbor doesn't, it's on a street pole or it's
now you're freaking me out, Chris. Stop talking about that one.
Smile, you're on camera.
I mean, it is fun. When you're sitting there talking about some obscure product and then miraculously you're going through your social media feeds and the ad shows up, that still kind of freaks me out. I'm like, so you're listening to all of that? Yes, but honoring the absent. I'm going to take credit for that one because that's a phrase that I think I talked about and used of just honoring the absent is also not talking smack about somebody behind their back, of not talking bad about the customer, even amongst teammates, even if there are no cameras. The attitude that we're going to have is we are going to honor the absent. If you're going to be an employee, if you're going to wear that Diamond Hill logo, that's an expectation. So job site cleanliness, honor the absent, and then the other 2 under customer experience.
Yep. And then next was the professional image. You're the face of Diamond Hill. All employees should be representing us in a professional image. when they're on our job sites or in lumber yards, Home Depots, Lowe's, etc. on the street. That means you got to wash your clothes, you got to clean up, can't have holes in your shirt, etc. That's huge, and
Yeah.
we provide shirts and for all the seasons, sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve hats, all that good stuff for all of our employees. And we just want to make sure everyone is looking the role.
I like it.
And then last is craftsmanship. Your quality work stands out. Clients seek out to Diamond Hill because they know that they're going to get a good experience from us, a good craftsmanship, and that's what we push. Like I said earlier, our work sells itself. And that's like around here, everybody wants to say they're the best of the best of the best. Well, I get that, but what about the experience? So
I like that. So I need to prime the pup a little bit. So you're hearing, hopefully, so far, this was the problem. We're working on creating a clear set of expectations. We have one more section to go through. And then what you're about to hear is how Chris implemented this in a way where the team was excited. Not in a way where he presented this and they're like, oh, great, you guys came up with a document. Whoop-de-stinkin'-do. We got their attention in a very positive, upbeat, and positive change-orienting way. So I just wanted them to know that's coming. That's how we keep them from tuning out, because they're like, okay, that's a good idea, but now they're sitting on the edge of their seats. So go through that last little section so they can hear that part of being an exceptional Diamond Hill Builders employee, and then we'll talk about how you rolled this sucker out.
Okay, so the last core would be an exceptional DHB employee. So what does that mean? That means submit your timesheets and receipts on time every week. Respect company property includes materials, tools, and vehicles.
Yep.
Safety at all times. Double and triple check your steps, tools, surroundings. Strive for positive feedback from clients. Remember that you are helping to make their dreams a reality. And then you got to submit your daily logs and progress photos to Builder Trend before you leave the job site every day. Take 15 minutes to do your little log and snap a couple pictures, because we review them and we share them with our clients.
So I think I hear a lot of complaints from remodelers about their team related to timesheets being not detailed, not done on time, receipts being a little loose, and oh yeah, I forgot to get that one in. Daily logs, well, I didn't have time to do that. And a lot of times we may have talked about it, but to make it a clear expectation and to have that jotted down so they can see it, that helps. So you guys created this ultimate building experience. It kind of hit head on to some of the challenges that you were experiencing. And then what did you do next with it?
So next we decided, okay, so now we've got all these 3 core expectations that we want out of our team. So how do we get them to meet these? So at our company meeting, we decided that we were going to come out with the UBE award, which is, we call it #UBE.
#UBE.
Yeah. Okay. So how it works is, are you ready for me to explain it?
Yes, I would. I would love it. And you know who else is excited? All those remodelers listening of going, wait a minute. I think this is the key part of the whole thing.
It's excellent. So weekly, each employee nominates a fellow teammate for their outstanding work, positive attitude, helpfulness, or going above and beyond for the prior week. So that means it doesn't have to be that they installed the kitchen 110%. It doesn't mean that they framed a deck or framed a wall or whatnot and they're the best at their craftsmanship. No, it could be, wow, they brought the trash in for the client, or they saw that the dog got loose, they went and got the dog, or they went above and beyond and they put booties on when they weren't supposed to put booties on.
Just they've been just positive attitude. They've been enjoyable to be around.
Yep, even buying lunch for another team member. I mean, that's huge.
Wow.
So that's some of the things that people are looking for in their day to day, and that's why it's key for them to do their daily logs and submit the photos into Builder Trend, because everybody's looking at them.
So the nominate every week, they nominate one. They get one vote.
One vote
every week, once a week. They nominate one teammate and say, John, this past week really went above and beyond with fill in the blank. And
Yep.
how do they submit that? I think they do it on their time card.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we do have an online time clock, but we also require them to do a time sheet just
Okay.
because instead of doing all the coding, it works easier for us. But they put it on that sheet, and then it's tracked on an Excel spreadsheet that my office manager tracks every week. Now they can only vote for teammates. It can't be management. So
Okay.
management is excluded from this.
Okay.
Um, so we keep it on a spreadsheet at each week, and then at the end of the month, we determine who got the most votes out of all the employees. Now, the thing is on the spreadsheet we have it color coded. So red means that they turned in their timesheet late, which is it deducts a point.
Oh my.
Yeah, and green means
For them, it deducts a point.
deducts a point. Yep. Now they can
I'm
also
I'm looking at the spreadsheet, and actually, can I won't share the spreadsheet. He's got employee names, but what's super interesting, I'm looking at the spreadsheet from December 30th, 2022, when you started this, to about mid March, and then I'm seeing March through present. The amount of red in the first 3 months, lots of red.
yep.
Mr. Kent, Alex, he was rock solid. He's never been late, but there was a lot of red. And the second half, I'm seeing much less red. That even
Yeah.
of itself is interesting.
Yep.
So
Huge.
so the spreadsheet gets tallied up. Everybody's submitting one vote every week. There's 14 employees in the field. I think the management staff can vote for people even though they're not participating in the reward.
They can. And
Okay.
also our clients can vote too. So if a client sends in
Wow.
a positive email or does a positive review or whatnot, or calls out a specific employee, or maybe it's more than one or two of the teammates, they get a point for that too.
Okay. So one thing with bonus programs, because I'm about to share what Chris has done as far as the reward aspect of this. One thing when it comes to trying to incentivize good positive behavior is a lot of times it gets very complicated very quick. What you just heard, the power in it is it's very simple. We have a place that we track it. We have a very simple spreadsheet. You can nominate one person a week. It's very simple. And then the top 3 people that have the most votes at the end of the month, hashtag UBE. They're getting some rewards, aren't they?
They sure are.
What does that look like?
So at the we have our monthly company meeting, and then there we have the top 3 winners, and so pretty much we have first place, second place, third place. So third place gets a $50 gift card.
It's nice.
Second place gets $250 worth of prizes. And first place gets $1,000 worth of prizes, and they get a hashtag UBE special hoodie sweatshirt that is only given out to the team member that wins UBE. So you can't just get those and wear them any day of the week. So it's kind of a big deal.
So I'm guessing in these company meetings, the excitement level is kind of high there, and the last few months, I'm sure, it's kind of like, I wonder who's going to win.
Yep.
But if you heard that correctly, Chris is being quite generous with this. $50 for third place, cool. Second place, $250. First place, $1,000. He's doing this monthly, right? So you're going to spend about $15,000 in this UBE bonus approach this upcoming year. So that's interesting to note. If Chris has got 20 employees, a little bigger revenue wise, but you can create this in however form or fashion you want. So how have they responded to the prize side of things? And then, okay, this is all cute, guys. We identified things we need to improve. They're catching each other. One, answer kind of the prize related one and how you do that and how you divvy it up. Okay. And then let's talk about the results of this, because that's the real amazing part.
Yeah. So what we do, I get whoever can see, we have this little jar, and each month they fill out a little piece of paper and they put their wish list of what they want for prizes. Wow. Now, it doesn't have to be tools, because, everyone's thinking, oh, it has to be work related. No, it can be, let's pay your car payment. Let's pay your mortgage. Let's put tires on your car. Let's do this. Let's do that. It doesn't have to be gift cards. It can be whatever. So, like last week we had last month, our UBE winner got a beach bike. and he got an Apple Watch, and he got a cordless drill.
Wow.
This month coming up, he wanted fishing gear, so we got a fishing rod, a tackle box. We got him.
And he was specific with what he wanted. And are you purchasing it ahead of time and then unveiling it at the meeting?
Yes. So it's all here. So we actually, the bike that we gave away last month, you had to have a dealer put it together, otherwise they wouldn't get the warranty. So we actually gave him the bike in a box and then $100 Visa card so he could take it to the dealer to have them put it together.
Right.
So there was like no way that he wasn't going to get that put together.
So one, I mean, you might not be looking at Chris's face, but like I can see you smiling through this. Like, this is fun. What a fun way to reward them. I mean, I can imagine that meeting. There's just some excitement level, and then there's a lot of applause. There's a lot of crap. I'm going to really excel this month and try to win as well. This $1,000 is a real thing. Like, those are some legitimate things. Yeah. So it'd be one thing if all of that was kind of hunky dory cute, but really wasn't changing that negativity and that team aspect and that culture. But this is truly flipped around how everybody is acting, behaving, talking, encouraging. Talk about that. That's the biggest punchline of this.
So we went through this. There was still negativity, people against this program that we were starting. Those people,
that's interesting.
Those people no longer work for us. They were just, it's not going to work.
They thought it was a bunch of crap that you're even doing it?
Yeah. Well, this is meant for us to be part of a team. And if you can't be part of the team, we don't want you part of the team. And like I tell my guys all the time, you don't have to go bowling on a Friday night, but you got to be part of the team. And so what happened is we had a couple that said, well, I'll never get voted for. No one's going to vote for me because I've been working on the same job for 2 years and they're never going to see what I do. And I'm like, again, it's not what it's about. You could pick up the phone and call up one of the other employees and say, hey, I hope you have a great day. Let's kick some butt today, full send. And that person may vote for you, but it's critical. Like,
you see him at the office, you see him when you're out and about, you're all kinds of.
Of course. But the biggest thing is if you're working on a job site for a couple of years, a long time, that client probably likes you and they're probably going to say some nice things about you. So, hey, let the client know that this is what we're doing. So
you had a couple employees that were immediately just looking at the negative aspect of this, and that kind of led to maybe accelerating their exit, which was already happening.
But then the rest caught on and they really enjoyed it. And it didn't become a competition. It became, hey, I'm actually talking to so-and-so who I've never talked to before.
Wow.
I'm actually having lunch with so-and-so who I've never had lunch with before. And it's getting them all involved and they're all interacting, and it's allowing us to put them with people that we thought they would never get along with. Just personalities, the game. Personalities are tough to match up in this trade. And it's been working great. And, each meeting, I'll always ask, what's working? And they always say UBE. They love it.
Oh. So what are some of the things they're writing down? Is it a lot related to positive attitude, helpfulness, going above and beyond? It's just...
Yep. It's positive attitude. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that so-and-so, does this on the weekend. I never knew that. Like we have something in common now. So when they're working together, they get along because they have something in common. Because a lot of guys, they'll bottle up and it's like a big competition. They want to one up everybody and they're the best and, or they've been here the longest. And it's not like that anymore.
All of this is faded into the background.
Yep. And I asked the guys last month if they thought we should stop doing this. And they said, absolutely not. This is the best thing that's ever happened. So you want to know the best thing, Kyle?
Yes, I do.
You know what this does is they talk. So you know what it's like in the workforce right now. They're talking to other people they know that are carpenters or, sheetrockers or painters and stuff like that we need in house. And they're telling them what we do. And guess what they're doing? They're calling us. They're looking to see if we're hiring.
So it's turned into not only this, you said, what the best part of this, which you already mentioned a lot of best parts. you're going from a bunch of negativity and a miserable environment in several ways. It wasn't totally miserable, but just negativity to something that is positive, where we are all pushing the same direction and building a team. And then, by the way, as an amazing side benefit, that word of mouth is getting out there. Oh, you're miserable at your job? Man, we're on fire right now. Like, we're just really appreciating each other. We're doing things. Chris gives away, I think, $1,000 every month related to this. It's so cool. We're just catching each other, doing good things, and it's going to turn into your number one way of recruiting. That doesn't surprise me.
And the other thing that I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but so now once we get through the year, we have all of our 12 UBE winners. But then at the Christmas party, we pick a UBE of the year. And so that's going to be first place, second place, third place, and we double the amount we spend on them at the Christmas party.
And is that going to be just cumulative from all 12 months?
Yep, it's going to be who got the most votes for the whole 12 months.
Wow.
Yep. And the most, emails. Like I know I sent you an email the other day, forwarding you an email what a client sent to us about the UBE. So it's huge. So these guys know that not only are they going to get their Christmas bonus, not only are they going to get to contribute in all the other activities at our Christmas party, but they have a chance to win a couple $1,000 more in prizes, or whatnot.
Do you think if you were doing half as much in the reward department, 500, 125, 25, do you think you would lose some of the energy, or do you think it'd be very similar?
Yeah.
Yes, what?
So. I think I would lose energy.
Okay. So that's interesting to hear, right? It wouldn't all go away, but the amount is really highlighting it. Go ahead. Why
I think what that? Really got, I think when we first put it out, the feedback I was kind of getting off the top was that, what am I going to put on my list? The drill. I don't want a $50 Home Depot gift card. I don't want this. I'm like, no. This is legit. What do you want? Tires for your truck? Okay. Like, this doesn't have to be work related. It could be, hey, I'll pay your rent. I'll pay your mortgage. Like, let's get ahead of it. Come on. And then they heard that big amount, and they really were like, they were shocked. I mean, yeah, sure. You could probably go less, but we chose to go more. And I just don't think it would work if I went less now.
Gotcha. Especially now, when they're used to it. You've set that bar there. If you moved it down, I was more thinking for the person listening to this. Well, yeah, of course, you transform them. You'd be giving out $1,000 every month. I can't afford to do that. I've got a smaller team. But even at $500 a month is a wonderful number. Or maybe you have 5 or 6 employees. Just do first place. And make it $300, make it $400. Start somewhere,
exactly.
but make it simple. They participate in it. There's a clear expectation, and you're hearing the transformation that Chris has had going from this to this, and it's just been very, very beneficial. I would also argue, and I think the numbers will find this to be the case, that you are getting way more than $15,000 of improved efficiency, productivity, etc. If I'm not working in harmony with my teammates, if I'm not communicating clearly, if I'm not doing my daily logs, if I'm not doing these things, that's all just little slippage and little things that, I'm not finishing out the day strong and wrapping up with that strong last hour instead of tearing down, setting back up, tearing down, and that taking 3 hours. I think the mojo that you have going, this thing's paying itself back quickly. Now, can you quantify that super easily? No, but keep that in mind as remodelers think about doing something like this. The improvement in communication and efficiency and teamwork is going to help offset most, if not all, of this. I think that's a true statement.
And you hit it right there, Kyle. Communication. Like, this has brought communication to the next level for us. Yeah, it's not perfect, but to the next level with our team.
Yeah,
because they're all talking to each other. They're instead of holding their hands across their chests and putting up their shield. No, they're working together, not against each other, and it's been huge.
Yeah, I think and on the recruiting side, I mean, the idea of if you really need a lead carpenter, and I said, hey, I got a lead carpenter, just give me $5,000. A lot of you would go, heck yeah, it's worth all of that and more. Recruiting, it's extremely valuable when we find a good employee. All of a sudden, through this is giving them something to talk about. They see somebody that's frustrated with their fellow team members. Man, my team doesn't communicate. My company doesn't communicate. It's just all stress all the time. and they're sitting over here going, hashtag UBE, man. Like we stand for these things, and we've got this program that has really helped us just get fired up. And we have this company meeting. We're all excited about it. That recruiting benefit also pays for this in a heartbeat. That's
sure.
Cool.
We tried giving out bonuses, and the problem with bonuses I found, and I don't know if other people have the same issue, is you say, okay, if you meet these goals for the week and you get us to this point, and we're going to throw you an extra $500. Either it works great or it works in the opposite direction, and they take double the amount of time, and they're under pressure and they make mistakes. This way, it's not about their productivity; it's about being part of the team.
The softer side. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. And that's where I was going with, whenever somebody approaches bonus related stuff, it just gets complicated really quickly, because try to reward the behavior you're looking for, yet when they make a mistake and when things go in the other direction, we don't not reward them. So then all of a sudden we benefit of like, well, yeah, you were under hours on that whole big phase, and that's good, but you were over hours on this phase. So I rewarded you over here. Now do I need to penalize you over here? And it just tracking becomes difficult, and it's just very difficult to find that structure that truly makes change happen. And I think what you have here is unique and is different. And what you said there, it's not focusing so much on the timing and the speed at which they're doing it. We'll take care of that. We'll manage that. But through this, I think that's improving. But we're talking about all the soft skills and all of the culture building, relationship building, teamwork building stuff. And that's what you shine the spotlight on, and that's what's improved as a result of that. I'm hoping this Chris, this might be a top 10 podcast of all time on the Remodelers and the Rise show. I got a feeling that this one is going to be something people listen to, and it makes them think, and I feel like action is going to happen as a result.
Yeah. Like I said, you got to create that environment for people to come work for. Like, I don't want a job. I want a career. Yeah. Creating a career with the ultimate experience is just key.
Wonderful.
And that's the direction we're going in.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your story on that, and hopefully it inspires some remodelers, and appreciate the time. Even though we had to kind of redo the first 5 minutes, I feel like the second recording was almost better than the first one.
I think it was, for sure.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me.